Welcome back to another Final Table commentary. Thank you very kindly to BCP Poker Replays for coming back. You're saving my ass. We got some more scoop events from 2024. This time, a 5K mystery bounty, event number 22, and sound. There we go. Got sound working. We got Vea back. No letters here. Graph Keckle. Silent mode. Star wins. Nacho, Jesper, and Amadi as well as back with a 90 big blind stack. Alrighty, this will be a fun one. Pretty darn stacked final table. I believe I've seen all these players play before. Jesper I'm not super familiar with, but with 66 bigs we'll get a chance to see what they can get up to. Ace 10 for Graf Keckle. Early position raise. Middle position. Early position. Middle position. One of the two. We're in the middle of the two. Early middle position. There's words for this. Jesper with the queen, flopping top pair. Graf Keckle with not much doing the backdoor straight draw and an overcard. We'll start things off with a third pot size bet. Bappity doo. Jesper calls. 11 blinds in the middle. 4 on the turn isn't the best card for your ace 10. You're still ahead of 7-5. Still ahead of 7-5. That's the open ender. Surely there's some more straight draws. 7-8. Maybe a bit more likely. That Betty do. Jesper goes for a very small bet here. Trying to get called by the ace high. Maybe a worse pocket pair. Or worse pair that is a pocket pair. Ace 10 deep in the tank. Does find the call. Not too surprising there on the double paired board. Dappity do. Nice pot for Jesper, who's up to 77 blinds, showing us what they can do. King 4 on the button. Sees an early position raise. Under the gun. No let with 175 blinds. Facing a 3-bet from Jesper. We love to see it. No let with a suited, almost connected hand. Jack 8 can still make straights. It's a 9 big blind, or sorry, the bet in total is 9 big blinds, which is a big sizing in position for Jesper, which is an interesting choice. In the end, no let says I'll just fold. Looks like if the bet was smaller, no let may have played call, although no let might have just been thinking about the large sizing. Doobity doo da. Star wins with middle pair, bets real small, and wins the pot. Silent mode in the tank with the queen and the 5. The same suit, letting it go. Might have been a 4, but I think it was a 5. Nacho with AC Deucey. It's suited. Gets a call from Amadi's 9-10. He's got too many chips to play with. No let calls with the deuce 3 suited. Graf Keckle completes the big blind with 4s. Jack 9 deuce flop. Everybody's got a pair. That's kind of cool. Checks all around to the king of hearts on the turn. 9s are still good, but no let has a flush draw. Nacho looking for an ace or a deuce. We see the hearts complete. I'm getting excited for no reason. No let's deuce 3. We'll go for a bet and take down the pot. I wonder if Amadi ever turns his hand into a bluff. We get a call from ace deuce. What the hell? Nacho. Interesting hand. Ace deuce calls there? Did we all just see that correctly? 5 blinds or so? Interesting. We'll just move along. Ace 4 for Amadi. Putting in the 3-bet. Making it 7 blinds. Reasonable sizing. Still putting a lot of pressure on Jesper here. Might call it off with some more suited connected stuff. Doopity doo. So Amadi gets one through. Star wins with the ace and the queen of the same suit in the big blind. Gonna face a raise from the button 2.5x. Bappity doo. Longer we go in the tank, I think a raise is coming in. Sometimes ace queen is played call pre-flop. I imagine Graf Keckle being the shorter stack. One of the shorter stacks. You go for the 3-bet. You're going to want to do this with a lot of your junk 10-6-5 flop. Graphical did call. Star wins, looking to put in a small bet, a quarter pot size. Hard to call here with king queen, even though it's super tempting. King queen does find the call. 25 blinds in the middle. Can Graf Kickle steal this one away? Well, if you go all in, I think you're getting the fold, buddy. But do you do that on the turn here? Rep the 8-9. Rep sets. Goes for the small bet. Uh-oh, what do we do with ace queen? Weird spot. Still plenty of flush draws. A few straight draws out there. Some sort of 9 jack. In the end, the king queen gets the job done. So nicely done by Graf Kickle, stealing a pot away there from the better hand. You'll love to see it. Jesper raising the 5-4-0 under the gun. Amadi comes along with 6-7 of hearts. Interesting hand brewing here. Nacho in the big blind with an ace and a 9. Bop, Eddie do. Place call. King 3 flop. Ace 9 still good. Jesper, the pre-flop aggressor, will just check it over to Amadi. 7 on the turn. 6-7 makes a pair. Whoa, did he really just say that? Look at this. Jesper with the straight draw is going to put a little bit of pressure on Amadi, who's going to find the call. Nacho with ace 9 will find the fold. Deuce on the river. Jesper's straight draw misses. 12 blinds in the middle. It's hard to check over 5 high. In the tank we go. I think Jesper's sizing up a bet here. What size? 9.3. I was going to say, do we go under the pot, or is this a spot where we have to go so large? No, just make it look like it's a nice value bet there. There could still be some pairs that are such as 8s through jacks. I mean even queens. Why not aces? Probably not aces. Maybe queens. So 8s through queens. Looks like they're going for a healthy value bet, and Amadi does fold the pair. Jesper completes the big blind here with the king in the 6, facing a very small bet on the flop. We'll see how they go about this. Just let it go. I don't know why I thought something was going to happen there. Graf Kickle with a 9 and the 9. Going for a 2.3x size. Star wins with queen jack, another queen jack for Nacho. They both fold. Jesper calls the small. 8-10-0. Interesting. Jesper just has too many chips in his stack, I think. 4-4 for Amadi in the big blind. Came along as well. King 7 deuce flop. 9s go for a little bet. You know, Jesper's not doing anything silly. Like they bet with the 4-5 when they had the straight draw, and then bluffed on the river when it missed. And it got through. Got some respect there. And then this time, when they completely whiff, they just get out of the way with the 8-10. So it looks like Jasper's willing to see flops, but with that being said, they're going to navigate appropriately. They got a big stack, 82 bigs. They're going to be battling it out with no let. Especially Amadi there, to their direct left. Anyways, we got a straight draw for no let. Looking for a 7, a jack would also do. Nacho with the ace jack. Sees a huge bet here. Surely he's not folding. 27 bigs in the middle. I don't think a jam gets through here. There's a one-liner to a 7. We are gonna see it. Something tells me he's gonna call. He folds. Uh-oh. I guess wrong. Nice play there by no let. Nacho down to 20 blinds. Just a little bit above Vea. Pretty well tied with silent mode. Bop-a-dee-doo. And this is a mystery bounty tournament. I wonder what's left for the bounties. We will never know. Maybe we will when somebody busts out. Hopefully it shows. King Jack just jams. Amadi with the 10-10. This is a limp pot. Jesper? Don't do it. No. Fold. Come on. Oh my gosh, Jesper jams. Oh my lord. 10s make a set and a boat on the river. Jesper jammed. For 80 blinds. Wasn't it? And then blinds go up, I think. What the? So Jesper just had too many chips there. Just a few too many. No let with an ace and a 6 will go for the 3-bet. The two big stacks are going to go to war. Amadi's got an ace that's suited. Can make some straights as well. Both got a straight draw to the 3, but no let with the 6 would make a better straight. So there's one card, or sorry, 3 cards that would give no let a real big cooler. Now a 7 works for him as well, although the cooler wouldn't be in play. Ace Jack with the nut flush draw, 2 overs, and the straight draw to the 3 sees a 20 big blind bet. Wow, you're in a pickle here. Does find the call, 3 on the river, and the bad news for Amadi just came in. No let goes all in. Like, can we fold here? Oh, Amadi finds the fold after he makes this straight on the river. He don't give a shit. He says this all in is either just the 6 or the 6-7, which was being represented on the turn. Just going to be a better straight. Nice fold from Amadi, who was looking for a flush there. Betty do. In the end, no lets up to just under 200 blinds. Took a huge one there. We're around 30 or 40 so blinds off of Amadi that hand. Star wins with a straight draw to the 8. Comes along to the 6th turn. Ace deuce is still good for no let. Remember when Jesper jammed with King 5-0 for 80 bigs? 17 big blinds from Vea. Amadi makes it boat. That was a crazy hand. Anyways, hearts complete on the river. So one-liner to the 8 or 3. No let with ace deuce. This is a small bet. I think it still gets through. Or do we try to bluff it? No let thought about bluffing on the river there, but in the end, Star wins. We'll just get it through with our king high. Ba-ba-dee-doo, da-da-da-ba-dee-doo. Poor silent mode. Hasn't had any hands. Has an ace and a 3. Looks very tempting. Queen 5 will surely fold to this raise. Oh my lord. No let sticks it in for the bounty. I forgot about that. Any spade, a queen, a 5. Makes 2 pair. I forgot about the bounty. No let gets another bounty. Unfortunately, we don't get to see what the bounties are, but we do see a7 rip it in. Surely the a6 will call. We'll see what Amadi does with king 8 suited. Plays call. Now no let with a decision. Plays call as well. What an action flop is. We see Amadi with 50% here. Nacho with a pair. No let with a pair. We're going to get this in. 5 on the turn. That will do. Oh wait, we didn't get it in. My bad. The percentages confused me once again. I thought we were all in. This looks to be a very small bet on the flop. Straight completes on the turn. Flushes complete on the river. King 8 will just take it down. Nice big pot going Amadi's way. And they get the bounty for however much. Nacho out in 5th place. Ba-ba-dee-doo. 8-8 for Graf Keckle in the big blind. 30-some blinds calls. Jack 6 deuce flop. Star wins with some stuff going on here with a6. Middle pair, backdoor nut flush draw. Bets 1.25 big blinds. Graf Keckle. Plays call, queen on the turn. Do-ba-dee-doo-doo. Think the a6 will slow down. King on the river. Diamonds miss. 8s are good. Although they might fold if Star wins bets. He's just going to check down his pair of 6s and see the bad news. A7 for Amadi goes for the open from the cutoff. And star wins. Let's go 9 deuce in the big blind. Do. A7 for Graf Kegel will raise the button. And Amadi has king queen O in the big blind. Could go a couple different ways about this. Could raise, could call. All in. Oh, I was not necessarily expecting that raise size. It will work though. King queen gets one through and we move along. Ace queen for Graf Kegel. 10-8 suited for Amadi calls from the small. Queen jack completes the big blind. Ace 7-7 flop goes check check. Amadi with nothing doing here, but no let picks up a straight draw to the 10. We'll check it on over to Graf Kegel. Still having top pair, now the best kicker. And a jack on the river, giving no let a pair and Amadi the straight blocker. He's gonna overbet and rep queen 10. No let with the queen and the jack. He's deep in the tank here. Surely doesn't think he can win with a call. Graf Kegel in a weird spot. We checked down our pair of aces. I think we have to call here. Didn't want to see the overbet, but in the end, Graf Kegel with the straight blocker. Ace queen seems like a mandatory call. Dappity-doo. That's a nice pot for Graf Kegel, who's up to 45 blinds. 54 blinds, sorry. Star wins, opening the 5s. A7 calls from the button. King, king, deuce flop. Star wins, smiley face. Starts things off with a small bet. A7 with the backdoor flush draw comes along. King on the turn, giving Amadi one more out to a king. A7 or king dealer. Doopity-doo. And Amadi might call here with ace high. This feels like it's like queen jack, jack 10, 10-9. Maybe even some of the lower connected stuff. In the end, Amadi folds and the pair of 5s takes it down. Big-bitty-doo, ba-da-bitty-doo. No let will raise the queen 6-0 from the button. 6-7 in the big blind. Star wins, thinking things over. Plays call. Ace jack 5 flop. Star wins, thinking things through with their 3 in a row. Wolf play check. 1.5 big blinds is the bet and a quick fold. Ace jack for Graf Kegel, raising it up. Star wins, thinking about 3-betting here. We'll find the fold. Queen deuce calls and flops a flush. Top 2 pair for Graf Kegel. Interesting hand. 2 big blinds to start things off. Ace 4 would check raise you here, I think. Jack 4 somehow. What else? King queen with a heart. Queen 10 with a heart. So some of those hands, such as like king queen, I think would slow down. Queen 10 obviously making a straight. Ace 4 making a lower boat. Amadi might just rip in his flush here. He does snap call from ace jack with the second best boat. Or I guess not the second best. Aces, ace jack. Sorry. Aces, ace king, then ace jack. Dappity-doo. Doesn't matter. Amadi had the flush. Graf Kegel with a huge pot, up to 106 blinds. Star wins, opening ace 7-0. 7-9 calls for Amadi and Graf Kegel in the big blind. 7-8. So we all got a 7. King 3-3 flop. Nobody really connects here. Graf Kegel with backdoor flush draw, but I don't think he's coming along with 8 high. But there's no bets. We check around to the 5 turn. No help for Graf Kegel. Star wins, I think we're just checking this one down, aren't we? Do we bet on the turn to protect our equity? He just checks. No need to bet. We're sweating. Just a 9 or an 8. A 6 that completes the flush. 7-4 makes a straight. 4 deuce makes a straight if it's in there. Instead, checks around to Amadi, who's going to think it over. If they bet, they'll get this one through. Go steal it. There's 8 blinds for you. 2.5 is the bet. Super small, and I don't think Starwinds pays it off. Nope, just finds the fold. Very nice bluff there from Amadi with the 7-9. Ba-ba-dee-doo. No let, play in the ace and the 8 from the button. Starwinds, 8-4. The same suit. Calls. Ace king 7 flop. Only one heart there for Starwinds is 8 high. Facing a small bet. Do we call with backdoor straight draw in there as well? Whoa, what's gonna happen? Starwinds just folds. Ba-ba-dee-doo. Ace 3 for Graph Keckle, just raises and takes it. Ba-ba-dee-doo. Amadi limping on in. Facing the raise. No let. Takes it down pre-flop. Ooh, aces. Doesn't look like he's gonna get any action. 5-9 says let's go to the flop. Okay. Graph Keckle has a lot of chips here. With a hand that could crack aces, but he doesn't. Not gonna crack them on that board. Just finds the fold on the flop and we move along. Graph Keckle with the ace and the 10 and the small blind. We'll see what happens here. Goes for the 4 big blind raise. That will take it down pre-flop. Ace queen suited. Goes for the min raise here. Graph Keckle was typically raising 2.5x. He is going to deuce a raise from the king queen. Although it's just a pretty reasonable hand to go for a 3-bet here. If you face the all-in, you just fold. Or any 4-bet of any sort. Do-betty-do. That's unfortunate for Starwinds. Still hanging in there with 44 blinds. They raise Jack 10-0 on the button. Queen 10 for Amadi calls the small. And 7-6 comes along as well with that 180 big blind stack. 9-9 deuce flop. Nobody's got a pair. Starwinds bets real small. Hard to call here with queen 10. 2 overs, backdoor straight draw. And the 7-6 will fold as well, so Starwinds takes that one. 51 blinds now. Hanging on in there. Slowly going to chip away at these bigger stacks. And find a way to get the Starwinds. Doopity-doo. No let, limping in ace 3, flopping 2 pair. Graph Keckle. Backdoor straight draw and 10 high. 5 on the turn. No help for the 8-10 of diamonds. Gonna be a pretty easy fold. Ace 9 for Amadi. Gonna raise this one on up. And Graph Keckle with the ace queen suited. Probably gonna raise this one on up. Although, do we ever... Nope. Graph Keckle just says I'm gonna apply the pressure on you. I'm just wondering, we're super deep. I guess if we go for the 3-bet, we can fold if Starwinds goes for the cold 4. If Amadi goes for the 4-bet, you're in a weird spot with the ace queen because you're playing 80 big blinds deep to most of your stack. We don't see it. Amadi had the ace 9, so they just fold. We move along. 10-9 with a pair of 10s. No let with the straight blocker. Goes for the overbet, and this will probably work. Scooping this 11 big blind pot with a nice aggressive play. Blinds go up. Starwinds with 40, ace and a queen on the button. Using their standard 2.3x. No let flops pretty well here against ace queen. Bottom pair with a straight draw to the 4. And again, it's one of those spots if the 4 comes, Starwinds would have the lower straight. Check on the flop. 6 on the turn. No let leads out with a 2 pair, 1-liner to a 4. And ace queen folds. Ba-ba-doo-doo. Amadi with a 5 and a 4. Facing the 3-bet from king 8 suited. big sizing, so I think Amadi might just find the fold. Very playable 5-4 spades. And it hits the muck. Ace 10 for Amadi. Gonna go for another raise. No let. Going in the tank with 6-4. Oh, plays call. What are we doing here? Come on. Just let this one hit the muck. Star wins. Getting priced in with the 8-4 suited. Flops the pair of 8s. King, 8 flop. 2 diamonds. No let with nothing going on. Amadi with a backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, 2 overs to the 8. 7 blinds in the middle. What do we do with 6-4 here? Check it. Like, sure. Boppity doo. 6-4 with no equity. I want to see him bluff. Star wins with picking up a flush draw. I don't think it's going to fold. But it checks around to you twice. Ace of hearts on the river, so Star wins makes their flush. Amadi with the top is the pairs. Boppity boo. Deep in the tank. Star wins betting 4.5 blinds. Amadi probably not going to value bet this hand on the river. And they're just going to find the fold to the lead. Nicely done by Amadi. Folds around with a small blind. Star wins with the queen 10 of hearts. Limping it in. Amadi with 6 deuce could raise it up. 3.5x. Hoping to get this one through pre-flop, but not this time. Call from queen 10. We make a pair of queens. Backdoor flush, backdoor straight. Star wins, checks. 9 on the turn. Star wins has this one locked up. Amadi with a pre-flop aggression sees 2 checks. Doesn't have a 10 or jack. Just gonna show this one down maybe? What do we do here? Wait to the river and then find a bluff? What do we do? If queen 10 bets, this will get through of course, but would have been interesting to see there if Amadi saw 3 checks. Sitting there with 6 high, it's going to be hard not to bluff as Star wins wakes up with the king and the king. Graph Kegel. Facing a 3-bet with ace 9. Ooh, no let might go for the cold 4-bet. Jack 10 suited. I suppose maybe if Star wins had some more chips he would find it, but gonna have to fold Jack 10 when there's a 3-bet. And the ace X for Graph Kegel folds, so kings don't get too much action. Raise from Amadi's king jack. Jack 9 calls for no let, and 10-8 will complete the big blind. 9 deuce deuce flop. 2 clubs for Star wins. That's not going to be enough to keep him in the pot here. No let does make top pair. Oof, but that changes Amadi with a king on the turn. No straight draw, no nothing for Star wins. We'll have an easy fold. No let with Jack 9 is going to be put in a weird spot. A little bit more than half pot. Don't think we want to fold after checking back the flop. 5 on the river. Do Betty do. If Jack 9 is good on the turn, it's going to be good on the river here. Amadi puts in a huge bet. Do Betty do. I mean, it could have been bigger, but the Jack 9 says I still got to pay this one off. Amadi back up to 72 bigs now. Boop Betty do. No let right back in there with 8-6-0. 5-4-0 calls the big blind. Queen 10-6 flop. Bottom pair, backdoor flush draw for no let. Bets real small and takes it on down. Folds around with a small blind. Amadi with the king jack. Flops top pair. Same for no let. Wow, that's interesting. King jack is Amadi's hand. No let with the jack and the 9. Can't fold top pair on the turn here, especially when we got the straight draw. 6 on the river. No let sitting here with top pair and a weak kicker. It does block 9-10. 9-5. So there's a few straights, feels like a call down hand. A few straights that it blocks. Sometimes you just gotta pay it off and see the bad news. Amadi with another nice pot, stolen or taken chips away from no let, stealing them. Bap-a-do. Star wins with ace 9, gonna play a raise. 7-3 defends the big blind. Jack 4 deuce flop. 7-3. Backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. If Star wins bets, I want to see a check raise from GraphCalc. That would be fun. Star wins, goes for the check, queen on the turn. No reason to bet with ace 9 now. Deuce on the turn, or river, sorry. Surely we bluff with 7-3. 1.85. Small bet. Star wins might pay this one off. Find it. It's in you. Unfortunately finds the fold. GraphCalc will steal that one away. And if you can navigate post flop with the 7-3, you may as well be calling pre. No let with king 4, going for the open. GraphCalc calls the small blind. 7-6 of clubs. Start wins is thinking about 3-betting here. No let's opened almost every button. There's a 7 deuce they folded, but other than that, it's been relentless. Jack 6 of hearts in the small blind for star wins. Playing about 50 big blinds deep, goes for a limp. 5 deuce, we'll just check it back this time. Jack 3-3 flop. Top pair, not too afraid of too many cards. Super behind a 3. And Amadi does try to rip the 3 here, betting full pot. Sorry, there's no straight draws, and just the flush draw to the diamond. 7 of spades on the turn. Brings in a few straight draws, such as 4-5, 6-5. Amadi with no equity will just check back the turn and face a big bet on the river here from the 2 pairs. Quick fold from Amadi. 5-4 for GraphCalc, we'll get one through. That's nice. Like to see that. Ba-ba-da-boo. Limp pot, ace queen. Sizing up a raise. 5 big blinds, that's a very large size. Very large. We saw earlier Amadi use 3.5. Usually you see like 3.5, 4x. This time, I suppose we go bigger because we're deeper. That makes sense. Do-ba-da-do. Another limp pot, ace, king, queen, flop. Another 5 deuce in position. This time it's for star wins. He'll just check it down to the river. GraphCalc's kings are good. And he bets full pot. And star wins folds 5 high. No let. Super aggressive here pre-flop. Jack 6 suited. I mean, he's just been, like I was saying earlier, relentless. It's just every hand. It's like soon as PokerStars gives him a little something. No let says this is an open. 6 deuce defending the big blind. Looks like it could just be folded pre-flop. No let says I've got 2 cards, let's go to the flop. I'm gonna navigate this better than my opponents, is essentially what he's saying. Ace 8 goes for a little bet, and the 6 deuce folds. Ba-ba-do-do. Ace jack for star wins, will raise. And does GraphCalc call? It's suited, it's 7 deuce though. They find the call, ace 10, 6 flop. Deep in the tank, we got no flush draw, no straight draw, let's just check and fold already. Do-ba-dee-do. Sizable bet on the flop here, 3.5 into a little over 5.5 blinds. 9 in total now. 7 deuce will eventually fold. Don't know why that took so long. Ace queen for no let. goes for the 2.25x sizing. Interesting. I just don't know why we're changing it up all the time. From a few players. I suppose it's typically what's the blind, like how deep you're playing changes. That'll change your sizing, so I should just pay more attention to how deep we are. Bop-a-dee-doo. Forest see a pretty safe flop, 7-7-3. They play call, king on the turn. We did not want that with fours. Ace queen says there's no diamond, so that's pretty good news. Bop-a-dee-doo. 10 on the river. Diamonds miss. Ace queen says hopefully I'm good here. A few straight draws miss there too. Do-ba-dee-doo. No let goes 2.25 with the queen 9 and takes it down. Graph Kickle is switching up to the 2 blind size now. Has an ace and a 4. Do-ba-dee-doo. So that problem was solved real quickly. Amati going 2.12. We're switching things up. Basically 2.1x. 10-6 suited on the button. Gonna face a 3 blind. It's a nice large sizing. 10 big blinds or so. No let will get one through. Queen 10 right back in there for Amati. Star wins with the queen 4 of spades. Could play call here. Thinking about going for a 3-bet. Nope, just calls. Queen 8-6 flop. Bad news for Star wins, who's gonna lose a few here. Do-ba-dee-doo. A few too many straight draws out there not to bet for Amati. Backdoor flush draws with some straight draws could come along. 7 on the turn. Not the best card for Queen 10. 9-10 makes a straight. 8-7 makes 2 pair. 6-7 makes 2 pair. If they're there with the backdoor flush draws. Doesn't matter. 8 on the river. Star wins goes for a little blocker bet and the queen 10 calls. Nice pot for Amati, about 14-15 big blinds. 6-9 for Star wins. Very nice. We'll go for the limp. Amati checks back queen 5. King 8-4 flop. Star wins. Thinking things through here. Gonna go for the lead it looks like. Bets a big blind. Queen 5 does float. 4 of hearts on the turn, giving Star wins a flush draw. Doesn't have a straight draw. He's gonna check it on over to Amati. Ace of hearts, giving Star wins the best of it. Just queen high. Amati doesn't even face a bet. I don't think we're bluffing either. We're still ahead of like some 6-7, 6-5. Ooh, Amati does go for the river bluff. Try to represent the high heart, bets full pot, and it does get called. Nice hand there for Star wins, who picks up ace queen now. King 10 for Amati. He's going to come along from the small blind surely. No let with queen 7. 3 ways. Surely he's going to call. I don't know why I said that. He's going to go for the 3-bet. Uh-oh, bad timing, but we do like the play. Calling is obviously pretty bad. 3-betting though. Trying to get this one through pre-flop. Scoop. Nope. We face a cold, or not a cold 4. We face the 4-bet from the ace-queen suited. And Star wins takes it down. Bop-bop-bum. King 7 for Graph Kickle. In the big blind facing a limp. We'll check it back. 10-10-8 flop. Beep-beep-do. Top pair, second best kicker. Checks it on over and Graph Kickle checks it back. Having some backdoor straight draws. No let bets quite large on the turn here. Graph Kickle with king high. Does come along to the ace river. Spades miss and the straight draws miss as well. King 7 might look to call down here. We do really want to see a check, but we see the 4 big blind bet. Graph Kickle thinking things through. Will fold the king high. King 10 for Amadi. Ace 10 waiting in the big blind. Ace 10 calls. 8-6 deuce flop. Bet in half pot from the King 10 with the backdoor flush draw. 2 overcards to the board. They both have the backdoor straight draw to the 7-9, but this time Star Wins just folds the best of it. Not going to be easy to navigate with Ace 10 there, no spade. Jack 8 limping in, facing the raise from the 8-7 suited, and this time Star Wins just folds pre. Queen 10, we'll raise this one up. King 10 last time called for Amadi, and Amadi calls again. Ace 9-9 flop. Weird spot for Star Wins with the backdoor straight draws. Ace high board. Hard to get value if you have an ace here, right? Not, or only the backdoor straight draws and backdoor flush draws out there. So Star Wins does just check it back as they would do with their pair of aces. Queen on the turn. King 10 just bets large overbet, and just like that, Star Wins folds the best of it. Oh my lord, look at this hand. Queen, queen for Star Wins, King 9 for Amadi. We might go 4 ways to the flop, unless Amadi just folds. Okay, they fold the King 9. No let with King 10. In this small blind. Likes to 3-bet. Doesn't want to just go to the flop playing call, so they just fold Ace Queen for Graf Geckel. Seen him 4-bet, he just jams. Uh-oh, Star Wins will find the call here, I think. Sweating the ace or king. King on the river, that will do just like that. Star Wins is out of here. Graf Geckel getting a little lucky there. Getting it in with some 30%. Bop-a-dee-doo. Interesting just jam. It was some 50 big blinds deep. You could go for a non-all-in 3-bet, but Graf Geckel does just rip it in. Moving along, Graf Geckel with a straight draw to the 8. Jacker 10 wouldn't do. No let with the top is the pairs. In position, goes for the small bet. Giving Graf Geckel room to call or even go for the raise. Graf Geckel calls, makes a pair of 10s on the turn here. Ooh, Jack on the river, runner 2 pair for Graf Geckel. Getting a little lucky for the 10 big blind pot. Betting 3 more, no let. Checking back the turn. Feels the need to call down on the river. Very small pot. Still, each one matters. Graf Geckel in a healthy first place position. Pretty well double both the other players. Has just under half the chips in play. Stupid. Oh no, and he gets the old king. No let will raise the queen 7. Oh, he folds. I'm just wrong. Ace jack. What do we do? Facing a limp. I think we raise. 3.8 big blinds to go. Graf Geckel gonna go for the 3-bet. 14 big blinds. Wow, we did not want to see this with ace jack. Hard to fold ace jack pre-flop here. And we're gonna bang an ace on the flop, so just like that, Graf Geckel's gonna need a king or some runner hearts. Bad flop for king. There's a few straight draws out there. 10-8 suited. Maybe 8-6 suited, maybe. 9-9 gets there, 7-7 gets there. What about some other pocket pairs? They would probably slow down on the turn here. Flush draws in position, would they continue to bet? You've got the king of hearts, or sorry, the king of clubs. So you don't have the nut flush draw bluffing into you. So king can just lay it down on the turn. Nicely done by Graf Geckel. An unfortunate flop. Amadi goes for the 3-bet with the king jack. Oh, surely this one will get through. Graf Geckel thinking things through. 6-7 does just fold. King 4. Amadi has a lot of chips now. but we'll just lay this one down on the button. No let gets a chance to limp in 10-3 of spades, and he flops middle pair. Graf Keckle with the bottomest of pairs. Backdoor flush draw comes along and he bangs off 2 pair on the turn. Another small pot, but looks to be another one going Graf Keckle's way. Hard to fold your middle pair on the turn here. 8-9 did complete, but there's still hearts out there. There's still King Jack. Hearts get there. Jack 9's still out there to bluff. King Jack might check back the river here, unless it's got a heart. Might feel the need to bluff. So the 2 open enders. What else we got? 8-9 making the straight. 8-5 makes a straight. In the end, no let calls with the pair of 10s. Graf Keckle shows him the bad news. Bop-a-dee-doo. King 8-8 flop. That's 3 of a kind for Graf Keckle, who checks it on over to the 3 high, who bets a big blind. Don't raise. Don't you dare do it. Just call. Very nice. 6 of diamonds on the turn. Amati blocking some ace 3, king 3 suited. Queen 3 suited. 3-4 suited. 3-5 suited. That Betty do. 3 on the river. Diamonds miss Amati. We'll just check this one down, but that's a nice little pot going Graf Keckle's way. Wow, back up to 132 blinds after getting his kings cracked. Still fighting away. No let with the ace 8. No diamond out there for him, but he still plays call. It's good timing, but unfortunately Graf Keckle picks up quite a bit of equity on the turn here. Both a straight draw and flush draw. Any 8 or a heart will do for him. Or a big bet. 10 big blinds into 6. That will do. King 8 for Graf Keckle. Limping it in. Amati with a 4 and a 10 checks it back. Jack 7-5 flop. And it goes check 8 on the turn. Graf Keckle with a pair. Amati with a couple of straight draws. A 6 or a 9. We'll just fold to the small bet. Graf Keckle with a 7 and a 9. Going for the raise. And no let with Jack 4 calls the big blind. Ace 9 flop. Only 1 spade for no let, so I think a bet will get through. Ba-ba-dee-doo, da-ba-dee-doo-da. Ace 10 for Amati. No let with the queen and the 10. Graf Keckle with 3-3 in the big blind. Should be a 3-way pot, except for no let's gonna play 3-bet. So Graf Keckle's gonna let go of the 3s, and Amati with ace 10 is in a weird spot. Ace queen 7 flop. 2 diamonds. So Amati says this isn't too bad. There's some hands that I lose to. The obvious aces, queens. What about 7s? Not likely. Could just call pre-flop. 9 of diamonds on the turn. Queen 10 slows down. That's what we wanted to see. Amati checks back the turn. 9 on the river. Check on the river. Huge pot going Amati's way. He's over 100 blinds now, and he gets an ace and a queen of the same suit. Facing the limp, goes for the raise, and Graf Keckle will fold. 9-8 raised from the button, and king 4 defense. So big blind, 9-8, 7 flop. Not too exciting here. No let with a backdoor flush draw, but no straight draw or pair. We'll just fold. Right? There's still some shitties ahead of, but it's just going to be way too hard to do anything on the turn. No let does go for the re-raise on the flop, though. 2 pair isn't going nowhere. Just goes all in, and no let folds. Bumpity-doo. Amati thinking things through with queen 8 on the button. Goes for the raise. No let with ace 10. in the small blind could raise. Seems like he likes the raising option. Does go for the jam. And queen high folds. Ba-ba-de-doo. Limp pot, both players with hearts here. This is fun. Put some hearts out there, dealer. Only one. Graf Kegel with a straight draw. Oh my lord, Almighty Colin with 10 high with the backdoor flush draw. Facing the bet on the jack turn. He's still good here with the 8 and a 10. Doopity-doo. Whoa, would you look at this? 10 high calls on the turn. Graf Kegel showing up with 4 high. His straight draw misses. 7 blinds in the middle and Graf Kegel bets pot and Amadi does find the fold with the 10 high in the end. Wow, that would have been really cool. I mean, even the call on the turn is pretty damn cool. Jack 9 going 3.3x from the small blind. King 4 for no let. Plays call. 8-7 deuce flop. Ba-ba-dee-doo. Checks over to no let, who will check it back. Ace on the turn. Do-ba-dee-doo. The straight draw will bet and take it on down. It looked to be an overbet there. Queen 7 suited, raising the button, and Graf Kegel does call 3-5 in the big blind. It's backdoor straight draw, but will fold on the Jack 10 deuce flop. No diamond. 9-5 flopping the toppest of pairs. Amadi with some backdoor straight draws. In position. Betting quite large. Graf Kegel calls 7 on the turn. $4.45 to go. Graf Kegel has a straight draw just like Amadi, but the 8 would be horrific. There it is. Oh no. Amadi with the better straight. Flush did complete on the river, so maybe that'll save Graf Kegel some chips here. 15 in the middle. Amadi sizing up a 3.7 big blind bet. Quick call from the worst straight. Nice little pot going Amadi's way, taking some off of Graf Kegel, who's hanging in there at 140 blinds. Both players flopping the toppest of pairs here. No let with the better kicker. They both have the backdoor spade draw. Graf Kegel has a few more backdoor straight draws though. Or sorry, no let has no backdoor straight draw. No let goes for the check raise with the king queen. 4 on the turn, so a straight draw comes in for Graf Kegel. Gonna be hard to fold on the turn as well. Oh no. 7 big blinds, about half pot. Thinking things through. Queen 6 calls, 9 on the river. King queen still good here for no let. And what do we do with queen 6 if we face a jam? What do we do here? Spades miss, Jack 10 misses. No, Jack 10 did get there, my bad. In the end, Graf Kegel calls and no let takes down a huge pot. Blinds go up, but he's still got 52. A double up away from first place position. No let is right back in the game. Top pair, top kicker for Graf Kegel. Facing a small bet in a small pot. Goes for the check raise. And king 4 folds. Ace 6 raises the button. King queen for Amadi in the big blind just completes. 5 deuce deuce flop. And no let is sizing up a bet. 1.3 big blinds. And a quick call from the king queen. 6 on the turn. Top pair, top kicker for no let. 3-4 does make a straight, but we're still gonna bet big. 5.2 into 7.7, and the king queen calls again. Still ahead of all the flush draws, or most of the flush draws, sorry, and some straight draws. 7-8 did get there on the river. Flush draws miss, but the king queen will just find the fold. No let in the big blind with king 3-0. Goes for the 3-bet. 10 jack for Graf Keckle. Looks to be too big to call. Does find the call anyhow. Ace 9-5 flop. No pairs for nobody. Backdoor straight and backdoor flush draw for no let. Graf Keckle just with looking for a jack or 10. There's a few backdoor straight draws in there as well. Graf Keckle folds on the flop and we move right on along. Amati with top pair this time. Graf Keckle with 3 in a row in the backdoor flush draw. It's one of those hands that almost fits into the check raising category. Maybe you'd rather have a gutter instead of just 3 in a row. Ba-ba-dee-doo. Ace 3, gonna limp it in. King 6 checks it back. Ace 3, deuce flop. Top 2 pair for Graf Keckle, checks it on over. Diamonds complete on the 9 turn. 1.2 blinds to go. And the king high folds. 5-4 for Graf Keckle folds, and the 8 deuce for Amati folds. 9-4 will fold. 7 deuce, we might limp this in. King jack, what do? We could raise, we could just check. We go for the raise. And there's a little pot going Graf Keckle's way. King 8 facing a limp goes for the re-raise, and Graf Keckle folds the worst 8. Ace 9 on the button for Graf Keckle. Queen 4 making the pair of 4s, backdoor flush draw. Ooh, another 4 for him on the turn. Ba-ba-dee-doo. Graf Keckle blocks the nut flush draw. Blocking some wheel draws that you beat. What do we do here? Weird spot for Graf Keckle. They're just going to find the fold and move along. No action for 3 of a kind. 7-3 for Amati going for the raise. It's suited. He'll be in position. And you face another 3-bet from no let, so he just quickly folds. Okay, blind on blind. Or sorry, not blind on blind. Button raise from no let. Big blind. Amati's got the pocket 10s, goes for the 3-bet. No let could go either way here with a call or a raise. They go for the 4-bet. Now when Amati's shoes out of position, do you just want to 5-bet all in? Do you want to call? No, all in it is. Huge pot. Any ace for kings dealer. No, the 9 on the turn, making a straight for Amati. Huge pot going their way. 160 blinds almost. At least the pot was almost 160 blinds. He's over it. He's over it now. 6-10 suited, we'll race and take it down. So our head's up about 80 blinds deep. Amati with a 2-1 chip advantage. Has a 6 and a 3, he'll raise that up. 7-5 will call, making 2 pairs. Amati with a couple straight draws. 4 or an 8. Goes for the big bet on the flop. Graf Keckle just plays call this time. 10 on the turn. So there's a few straight draws like 8 jack and 8-6. Well, 8-6 was already a straight. 8 on the river, so Amati has the best of it. Ba-ba-dee-doo. And the 2 pair goes for a little value. Little blocker bet. Unfortunate happening there for Graf Keckle. He's got a suited king 8 though on the button. Amati calls with jack 3, flopping up top pair. Graf Keckle's betting small. Has an overcard backdoor straight draw. Queen on the turn, that's a good card for him. Probably going to look to go bombs away on this turn card here. 12 blinds, bombs away is right. And the pair of jacks folds. Bam-ba-dee-doo. Queen 7. Goes for the raise. King queen for Graf Keckle. Going for the 3-bet surely. 9 blinds in total. Queen 7 of diamonds. We could flop well. We're super deep. We got the top pair. Backdoor flush draw. Good flop for Queen 7. Graf Keckle will check it on over. I wonder if he's done with the pot here. There's still clubs out there. Some like, oh, but queen of clubs is in his hand. Oh, and he goes for the check raise. He says, you can't have these flush draws that are going to call my check raise, but... Whoa, what do we do here? Top pair. The top pair just folds. Graf Keckle, what a play there with the king queen to get that through. Getting top pair to just let go of their hand. Ba-ba-dee-doo. Alrighty, so ace king king flop. Both players with queen high. We see a bet and a call. 7 on the turn. Ba-ba-dee-doo. Turn goes check, check. 8 on the river, changing nothing. This looks to be a chop pot. Boop, boop, boo. 10-8, raising the button. Queen 9, we'll go to the flop. We both make a pair. Amadi's going to want to put out a little bet here. Ooh, he goes to the check back actually. I'm just wrong. Picks up a straight draw on the turn. Going to be hard to fold. Doop-a-doo was 4 blinds into about 5 or so. Graf Keckle doesn't have the top pair, but there's still value to be had. Any 8 or 7, maybe even a 3. Oh my lord, Amadi goes deep into the tank and then he goes for a 4x raise. And the queen 9 does find the fold. Ooh, both players with a pocket pair. What an interesting hand there with the 8-10. The thing is, just when you go deep in the tank, just makes it seem more bluffy, but maybe Amadi will balance his time banking. Anyways, queen on the turn. 7 still looking pretty. Just sweating a deuce. 4 on the river. Amadi might be able to bluff him off the pot, but he's just gonna check considering the spades miss, king jack misses, jack 9 misses. Do we call down with deuces here? I would be tempted. Deep in the tank, he is going to find the call. Nice thin value bet there from Graf Keckle. Boop-a-dee-doo. 7-10 going for raise on the button. Graf finds top pair. Backdoor flush draw to go along with it. Amadi just with some backdoor straight draws. Runner 2 pair draw. 4 clubs on the turn. That's no help for the 10 and the 7. Boop-a-doo. The queen on the river that completes hearts. Okay, that's an interesting card. Amadi blocks the straights. Doesn't have a heart in his hand. But he's facing a very small bet, and he might want to try to pull a bluff off here. But he says no. I can just easily fold and let you take this one. 8-9 going in the tank. Going for the 3 bet. Well, wee wah. And 10-6 just folds. 8-9, eh? Well, this is fun. Super deep. We got a lot of 3 betting going on. 4-4 sees an ace-6-3 flop. Amadi says, I want to bet and take this one down. He could check and because he's ahead of a lot. Spades get there. 3. It's not a good card for either player. I mean, it's good for the 4s, I suppose. 5 on the river. No bets. Graf Keckle even goes for a nice thin value bet, and the king high is thinking about looking him up. Finds the call in the end. Deep in the tank for a 1 big blind bet, basically. Doop-a-dee-doo, da-da-ba-dee-doo. Ace king 5 flop. Nobody with a pair. Amadi is thinking about leading. We'll check it over though. Graf Keckle bets a big blind. And Amadi folds. Did have the slightly better 3x, but can't blame him for folding. 10 deuce for Graf Keckle. Flopping a pair. Amadi with the open ender. Check. We don't want to get check raise. We'll see if Graf Keckle checks back the middle pair, and he does. 9 on the turn. Not a good card for your 10x. There's still plenty of draws out there though. So we bet a big blind, half pot. Queen 3 calls, 4 on the river. 10s are probably going to take this one Sometimes lose to a jack, but probably not. King jack versus king 8. Amadi in position will go for the small bet on the ace deuce deuce flop. King jack calls. 4 on the turn. Almost 8 blinds in the middle. Amadi could slow down, but I like fighting for chips. Not this time. Jack on the river. And king jack just has his thing locked up. Tries to get called by a king high, maybe a 4x or some pocket pairs. Boppity doo. And the king high just folds this time. Amadi facing the raise. Goes for the 3-bet with the 6-9 of spades, and this one will get through. Seemingly that's happening often. No action for ace king this time. Amadi with another ace will call the big blind. 10-10 deuce flop. Ace 6 goes for a little bet. Backdoor flush draw. Which he does pick up a club on the turn here. Bombs away, right? 6 blinds into 8 big blinds. Ace 4 is in a weird spot. Does find the call. King on the river. Jack high versus the old ace high. No pairs. Miss flush draw versus just a nice calling down hand from Amadi with the ace 4. River goes check check. About 20 blinds slide his way. King 10 goes for the 3-bet, and Graf Keckle takes it down pre 6-9 of diamonds. In position, picks up a straight draw to the 7. Amadi with the bottom pair. Flop goes check check. Queen on the turn. Turn goes check check, and a queen on the river. King deuce still good. Leads out the river and 6-9. Can't call. Could raise. Goes for the raise. 10 big blinds in total. 7.5 more to call. And the king deuce does just find the folds. A nice little steal there from Graf Keckle. He's got a suited hand. We're going to play from the button surely. Thinking about 3-betting. Just calls 9-4 deuce flop. 1 spade for Graf Keckle. Bottom pair for Amadi. Bottom pair goes for a small bet. We do get a float from the jack 6. Has 2 overs to the 4 and deuce. 1 over to the 9. And then the backdoor spades as well. Amadi turning 2 pair. No help for jack 6, so it'll fold. Graf Keckle tries a limp. Amadi says not today. Ace 7 raising the button, and Graf Keckle with king queen of diamonds. Surely gonna play this one. Goes for the 3-bet. And Amadi just lets the ace high go. Blinds go up. Both players with a king. Graf Keckle in position. Amadi suited. He's got the slightly better king 2. Facing the limp, he goes for the 3.5x. Wow, we both got a straight draw. Amadi's 10 is the best hand. Boop-a-dee-doo. Backdoor diamonds as well for Amadi. Graf Keckle blocks the diamonds. Blocks 8-9. Blocks king 9. Blocks ace king. Does he put some pressure on Amadi's pair of 10s? He does go for 9 blinds. Huge bluff. Huge bluff. Amadi says, no worries, I'll quickly call with my pair and flush draw. 6 on the river. And Graf Keckle sitting here with king high, 30 blinds in the middle. All in. Oh my lord. Surely this buys the pot. Amadi facing a 2x overbet pot. Finds the fold with the best of it. Oh wowie wee wah. I mean, Graf Keckle was blocking so much. Just feels the need to go for it. And then it's like, what sizing do you go? Close to pot. You just might get looked up sometimes. 2x overbet. It's hard to get looked up by somebody who's just smelling some bullshit. I mean, that was a big pot going Graf Kekel's way. 30 blinds, huge to steal that. Limp from the 10-3 and 10-6 raises and takes it on down. Ace 10 in the big blind, facing a raise. We'll 3-bet. 9-5 suited for Amati. We could call, and he does. Queen Jack Jack flop. Graf Kekel looking for a king. An ace would also do, or just the bet to get through. And 5-9 folds. Jack 7 raising the button, and 6 deuce folding. Ace king versus Jack 9 of clubs. We'll see a better 2 get in here pre-flop. Here's the 3-bet. Ace king, we could go for the 4-bet. We don't necessarily want to bloat this thing, but Amati just says this is heads up poker. Ace king is going to be the best hand here. Do get a call from the Jack 9. Huge pot, 47 blinds in the middle. 8-8-6 flop. 2 spades for Amati, who's in position. Looks like we gotta go for another small bet. 11 blinds is small compared to the pot size, but it's a large bet, and compared to where they sit. Graf Kekel just with a 75 now. 11 big blind bet on the flop. That's huge. Amati with the king and the 4, flop and top pair, flush draw for Graf Kekel 7 deuce, and bottom pair to go along with that. Jack of hearts on the turn. Looks like Amati's gonna have to bet big. Might price the bottom pair and flush draw out on the turn. We'll see what size he goes. 12. Yep, that might just price him out. 12 into just under 9. Ooh, the 7 deuce call is just a huge value bet for Amati. And now, do we go for more on the river or just check it back? He checks. Takes down like a 30 big blind pot. Graf Kekel down to about 60 bigs now. 4s are still good for the time being. Flop goes check, check. 7 on the turn. Pairs the board. Amati still with 2 overs and a straight draw to the jack. Doopity-doo. Graf Kekel doesn't bet for any protection. Just looking to show this one down. Same with the king queen, but 4s are good. Jack 9 for Graf Kekel. Raising the button, and 6-8 goes for the 3-bet. Jack 9 does call. Ace 5-5 flop. 20 blinds in the middle. Amati with some backdoor straight draws. Bets a quarter. And takes it on down. Ace deuce limping it in. Queen 8-7 flop. Amati checks it on over. Graf Kekel checks it back. 6 on the turn, a straight draw to what? The 5 for Amati. A jack or a 4 would have worked as well. Instead we get a 3, and Amati bets. And Graf Kekel folds. King 3 suited, raising the button. 9-6 in the wrong order, still plays call. Flop and bottom pair. No hearts out there. Amati just with the overcard and the backdoor straight draw. Betting 1.7 blinds. Might be able to get the 6 to fold on a later street, but nope. Not when a 6 comes on the turn. Amati slows down and makes a pair of 3s on the river. Losing to any ace, queen, or 6. I don't know if we pay off a bet here. You beat some jack 10, king jack. Diamonds, maybe? Diamonds, backdoor spades, backdoor clubs. There is some hands, so Amati does pay it off. In the end, it's Wrong time, but we move along. Queens get no action. 5 deuce. Let's it go pre. Kings get a walk. That's no fun. 6-10. Thinking about raising. Does find the raise. Ace 8 defends the big blind. 5-3 deuce flop. And Amadi betting half pot. Ooh, ace on the turn, completing hearts as well. Amadi in position. Sees 11 blinds in the middle. Doesn't see a way to win them. 3 on the river, giving Graf Kekel a flush. Do Betty do. Again, there's 11 big blinds in the middle that I would have wanted to fight for, but Amadi says I'm just going to wisely check this one down when my opponent has a flush. When he's got top pair on the turn. Do Betty do. 8-8 for Graf Kekel. We'll check back the Jack 9-4 flop. Amadi with a 6 and a 7 overbets the turn. Oh, how dirty an 8 would be on the river. 8s will just fold on the turn, so we will never get to see that. At least not this time. Both players with a pair. Amadi with the best of it in position. Has the backdoor flush draw. Graf Kekel with the middle pair. Didn't want to see this larger size here, but he makes 2 pair on the turn, so it doesn't matter. Boop-a-dee-doo. Overbet from Amadi's ace 10. He's going to need an ace, a 10, or a 7. Graf Kekel plays call. We see a 3 of clubs on the river. Again, it's a spot where I think Amadi checks it back. I don't think we go all in here. He does go all in, snap call from the 2 pair, and just like that, Graf Kekel takes the lead. 125 blinds to 86. Amadi with an ace and a jack goes for the 3-bet pre, and it will get through. King queen for Amadi. Ace 4 will call. King 8-5 flop. Oh, they're gonna do something next hand. Are they just all in? Oh, he's just jamming. They must have chopped it up. Just going for the bounty now. Interesting. Interesting choice just to run it. They must have made a deal somehow. Interesting. So that's the way this thing ends, eh? Graf Kekel gets the W, making a straight on the river. After they just rip in Jack 8 and 6-3. It was a very fun heads-up battle, even though it kind of ended in a very shitty manner. Sometimes, though, that's what happens at the end of the game. He's like, yeah, look. We're just playing heads up for like half hour or so. Anyways, alrighty. Well, that's the end of the show. If you made it all the way through, thanks for checking this shit out. Hopefully we'll see you in another one. Adios, amigos.